I try not to spend too much time on social media these days because there's so much negativity. But there are a few groups that I have seen do some beautiful things. One of them is called the Humans of New York. Is anyone familiar? It started off as a photography project, I want to say about 10 years ago, where this photographer would take pictures of everyday New Yorkers. And as time went on, he started to interview them as well. And so now they share the photos and the interviews, and it lifts up our shared humanity, the humanity that all of us have through the stories of these people living in New York. All kinds of different stories. And there was one that was posted recently that reminds me of what we're talking about today, the way that God uses our histories to shape us and to shape our gifts, and to help us share those gifts in ways that bless others. And so I want to share Rosa's story today in her own words. I believe that this was posted on their site the beginning of this month. Rosa says, "I was working as a school secretary. I just turned 40. My kids were finally a bit older, and so I decided it was time. College was unfinished business for me. I'd gotten pregnant when I was 17. My mother kicked me out of the house, and I was forced to drop out of school. My entire life, I had wanted to go back and check that box. At first, I was planning just to get my undergrad degree. But halfway through, I thought, wait a minute, I'm going to be a school counselor. My biggest motivation was all of those years I'd spent as a young mother, trying to take care of 3 babies while still growing up myself. My mother had disowned me. My marriage wasn't the healthiest. There was nobody to talk to. Everyone in my life had either broken my trust or left me without support. Imagine living your life until the age of 30, alone and scared. Scared was the big one. I hadn't really processed what had happened to me as a child. I just knew that I was scared of life, and there was nobody to make me feel safe. And not having anyone to make you feel safe is hard. I ended up becoming a counselor at the same school where I worked as a secretary. It's been almost 10 years now. I love helping the kids manage their emotions. I love seeing their family dynamics improve. But most of all, I love being someone they can trust. It makes you feel proud when something about you makes a child comfortable enough to share their pain. Something about you makes them feel safe. It's not an easy thing to obtain. But when there's trust, there's no barrier anymore. It just makes the air around you easier to breathe in. The school feels more like an extended family now. Students and parents seeking me out, emailing me, thanking me. The gratitude piece still gets to me sometimes because it's easy to not feel deserving because of all the mistakes I made, because of what happened to me when I was young. But when a student turns around 5 or 6 years later and says, "My life is so much better because of you," it almost makes sense. It's like, it happened, Rosa, but look what you're doing now. Rosa's story, her pain, her trauma, facing it meant she had space inside to help her gain the trust and to hear the stories of kids who needed her. Her own need for safety, it helped her become a safe place for others, a safe person for others. I like her final line. "It happened, Rosa, but look what you're doing now." Maybe that is what Moses realized too, as he led the Israelites out of Egypt after all those years. "It happened, Moses, But look what you're doing now.